Good morning, folks. Welcome to Simply Forex, Trading Forex Simply. I'm your host, Max Fairo. This is dextrader.com, and you're on the Simply Forex portal here. We're about to jump in and do a market read of today, October 16th, 2017. Okay, so let's get started with the market read here on the Audi USD. We have and again, this process is not really about using the technicals over the fundamentals or what have you, okay? This is more about my perception and how I read the market and what I feel is about to happen within this market structure. I do feel like the Audi USD is priming itself for a nice little reversal area. But when we pull back on the market here, we really see this high intensity set of supports and resistance areas. Of course, once it pierced through, it was a support area. But we had some major touches here that it kind of loaded and stop punted a lot of things up to this level, but then came back and double topped itself here. Now, here's what I feel is going to happen. I feel that this market's going to pull back to this and stay consolidated in this little range here for the rest of the afternoon, and then find something this evening to push itself pretty far up into this area again, if not up to the level of 78.80 area, 78.90 area, really close to the 7,900. Because if we really look back just last week, at the end of last week, we were super close. Look at that, 7,900, 79.96, 95. So I know it's going to try to do that again, but I'm seeing this as a real major consolidation area loading up, right? The only thing that will tender the reverse is something that's happening with the 75 SMA here that's happening right here, is that you have this little crossover, okay? Because I think what happened is that this big impulsive move kind of tricked the 75, which is back 75 bars from the side, into feeling that it needed to be above the 20. And this is the 20 SMA that we're looking at right there. So here's what I think is about to happen. And in all intents and purposes, you got to look at this as a battle, and you got to find out where can the enemy push me to if you're in for a buy. And if you're a seller, if you're looking for the sell look, you got to look and make a case for where's it going to come in to sell off. All right. Now, I hate doing these 50-50 horoscope reads where, like, if it moves here, then you go here, and if it does this, you do this. Or it could go up, and it could go down. Of course it could. It only has two directions. But the idea here is, where will I go to sell off, right? If you get a huge 1 or 2 bar run to this area, okay, to this 78.90 area, okay, into this zone, if it's done by just 1 or 2 bars and pierces and stays above it, another 1 or 2 bars, you're pretty much going to be north of that 7,900. But here's what I think is going to happen. I think we're going to come down to this zone right here, which is the 78.60 area, okay? And it's going to consolidate into this area just a little bit longer before it's going to push north, retrace off, and then we're going to look at a major reversal over the next 4 or 5 days. That's my call, is to be down in this this zone right here, which is sitting at 78.35, 78.40 area, maybe even the 7,800 area, if it's going to be really aggressive. I'm seeing some major structure in those areas by looking back and where can I get a good line of structure, and that's one of them right there, 78.36, 78.40 area. Okay, that's 78.40 area right there. Okay, so that's what I think is going to happen for the rest of the week for the Audi. Now, we got into last night a couple of trades. We got into 3 trades last night. Let me show you what they look like. We got into the Great Britain Pound USD, the Euro USD, and the Euro Great Britain Pound. Now, I did this because correlation set up pretty good. Okay, see, quote price, got to buy, got to sell. Yay for us. Stayed strong on the Euro in that process. So I had some good opportunities in there to see that I had good structure. Now, the Great Britain Pound USD didn't have super great structure, but it had good enough for me to pull the trigger on it. And I'll show you what they look like. These were all done late yesterday. in that process. So, but it did. They kind of came and they went very quickly, and I'll show you why here in just a second. Okay, so we got in late last night. We got in right around in this area. Let's see, I had the break off here. Okay, so we got in at 32.94, and once it perceived to break that structure, which we had it right there, we had this bar really start to commit to that. We did have some pullback and have some process, but I put my stop loss. It was right around in this area, and my take profit was a 1-to-1 at this level because I knew we had some major consolidation, we had some influx, but we weren't getting a clear. The only thing that was giving me a good signal was the 200 SMA. So I got into this position, sort of, I won't say a hope or a dream. I just felt like we were going to move to that position. But listen, with this trend line happening and hitting these marks, we were pretty set that, you know, if it didn't, then we had some backup. But unfortunately, it got stopped out about an hour and a half later, right here. And then, of course, just like anything, you know, we tried to stay true to the volume because we had good volume indicators saying that we didn't need to put on a huge stop loss. So we did a 20 on 20. We would have made it to here if we would have been 22. So you got to remember, you know, just putting it to a standard structure of stop loss. You have to also remember that there's some good function to following something more than just previous structure, right? And then maybe giving it a couple extra pips, maybe even extending your pip value, you know, your stop loss even further if you can get the climb. But here's the thing, even if you would have and you followed to this level, you would have got stopped out early this morning from that position. So it's not about making these things perfect. It's just about finding as many opportunities finding the opportunities to trade that give you the proper indication. And this was a proper indication of that structure. There was no mistake here. There's no problem here because we had a good signal here. We had a good signal here. The price was above both of these as we dictate in our training, and we just went with it. Okay, it's our risk management and our risk values that save us from doing too much loss, and that's why we did pretty good. The Euro USD, we did the same thing. We had a breaking of structure, okay? Breaking of that structure right there, which we got in for this pair right here. And of course, what happened over the past, just as soon as we broke it, over a couple of hours, we hit our stop loss. This was also set to a 1-to. In fact, in this one was set to a 1-to-2 in the solution because we had a 10 pip stop with a 20 pip take profit. So this is a 1-to-2. Another 1-to-2 was the Euro Great Britain pound. So we had two 1-to-2s and a 1-to-1, but they all sort of had the same. Hold on one second. But they all had the same stop risk value in there. So even if we were to lose one, we'd still have one to take care of the break even, and then the other to get us into profit, which we did pretty good. As you can kind of see, we got into a profit margin right around $182.41, right in that area. In fact, that's exactly what we got after fees and everything else. So 182.41, not too bad for the night. But listen, this was set as a standard. If you would have done it as a mini, you know, it's $18, and it was $1.80 for a micro. So it's all a matter of, you know, CVG, consistency plus your volume gets to your goal. All right, let's get back over to the market read here. So we also did on the Great Britain US or Euro Great Britain pound the same feature. We had structure broken here, which then we got in, and of course we met our stop loss. Now last night I also had this line to work with, so I put my stop loss just above it. So this one was a little bit less than a 1-to-2. In fact, no, actually it was a little bit more than 1-to-2 because we were getting to structure to be 10 pips, which we put up to here. So we had a 1-to-2 here easily with that solution as well. All right, let's go look at what these will be doing today. The Great Britain pound USD, I still think it's going to sort of hover in this area. It's going to load up for the rest of the day. We've had some of its major moves today. It's going to kind of consolidate in these two areas. If we do get a punch out, it's going to be north of 132, 132.90 area. I'm saying it's probably going to be 133, at least by the end of the day, be in the 33 area. Once it does pierce over that, we're looking at a forward move north than anything else. Let's look at one of the other. USD JPY. Get over to the 15 minute. We've had a good run south here for a while. A nice trend, value, descending trend here. So I think where we're going to start to see a little bit of a shift here is right here at this 1170 area. That's this area right here. So 1170. We're going to start seeing a little bit more consolidation. I think we're going to see a push. We're going to raise up to this level. If we do run north at all for any period of time, it's going to be right to here. And this area is sitting at 111.97, 112, right? So keep in mind, heed the 112. There's the 112 area. This is a major right now as a resistance area. So this area right in here. If we do raise up north, we are going to try to reach that area. So if it does pierce this first 111.85, 111.80 area, look for it to move north to here, of course, through the 112, and then retrace back down. So keep in mind that those movements could happen. If anything, once it pierces this level right here, which is the 111.70 area, look for that trend to continue on downwards and for good sells all the way down for at least one more day of deviation here, where I think over the next day we're going to consolidate into these areas and then try to rally to go back north. That's my depiction of that market. USD CHF sitting flat, USD CAD on a massive incline, but this is a little bit too strong for me. I'm going to try to see if I can find a pullback area for you. I don't really see of anything of any worth. It's already pierced this one level of support. We're looking at another one that's up around this area. So right around the 25.50 area. So we're looking at 125.50 area to be that next resistance area for the pop in and come back down. If anything, if it doesn't head north past where it's already at now, let me pull that up there. I'd say the 25.50 area. If it doesn't head north of that in the next 2 hours, I say right now it's been consolidating a little bit in this area. I say it's going to really try to push out, but if it's going to push, it's going to push out and come back down to this 25.100 area, 25.10 area, 25.00 area. Okay, and it'll use that as a major support area to push off to go for tomorrow. All right. That's basically my market read for today, October 16th. A little long-winded this morning. I do apologize, but hey, listen, this is the way it is. If you're here still watching the video, thank you very much. I hope I gave you some information about what I can read the market at and see where that's at. I'm doing about 90% success when it comes to reading these markets and the zones and the pullbacks. But you got to just get in there and do it. If you're not a member yet over at Dex for this Forex Simply, get over there. We have a lot of people on board. There's some great things happening in the chat rooms as well as in the trader networks, and a lot of people learning some great stuff. So hope to see you inside. My name is Max Fairo. This is Forex Simply, Forex trading Forex Simply, and I'll see you next time.